Okay folks, so I thought I'd do a video of this, me taking the drive shaft off of this car to do the drive shaft gaiter. Contrary to what everyone has said, I think I can get the gaiter on without taking the whole drive shaft off. Obviously I've got the wheel arch liner out here. Normally there's a liner in here, as everyone knows. Obviously I knew that there was a bad oil leak from the front crankcase oil seal, crankshaft oil seal. So at some stage I've got to undo that nut, which I'm kind of dreading a bit. Yeah, I think I'm obviously need to get it up on a ramp and get a long bar on it and undo it. God knows how many pounds-feet of torque it's going to need to undo it, but probably quite a lot. And that's without it being rusted on for God knows how many years, if it is indeed rusted. Anyway, so, but that aside, yeah, that's something I've got to address when I do the camshaft oil seals at a later stage. Sorry, crankcase oil seal and crankshaft oil seal and the overhead cam belts. Obviously, being a UK or European car, when you pan around and look, it's not like your lovely Californian cars. I mean, you can see this is not corrosion, but someone's dogged a load of stuff on here just to kind of protect it from the weather. So it's not actually rusted, although it doesn't look too pretty. So that's that. Right, going to the business end, I've undone the drive shaft from here, which is no problem. And to give me a bit of room, I've removed the brake caliper from here, and the drive shaft is now here. I don't know if you see, it's quite dark and I haven't got any lights with me. Basically I'm just in the process of putting a puller on there to pull that off. I'll just get a close-up of it. Now, as you can see, there's a circlip that just goes around there. As everyone knows, probably knows, there's a circlip. I've managed to get a circlip off. I put a puller on it because obviously I tried to tap it off and it wasn't having any of it, and I've actually put a little puller on there, moved it about probably about 4 millimeters, and then the puller broke. So now I've got a much more industrial sized puller, this chap here, and I'm now about to pull the shaft off live, as it were, so you can see it coming off. I hope. If anything breaks or anything goes wrong, then you'll be able to see what happens. But I bloody hope I don't break another puller. But it's really, it's quite stubbornly put on there. It really has attached itself to there. I haven't undone the clip on the gaiter yet, just because I'd rather just pull it and get it free. And once it's free, then I'll cut the clip. But at the moment, I'm just want to get it pulled. So let's go for it. I've got quite a big power bar on this, so I'll just come back a bit. Right, so, God blimey, doesn't want to move too fast, does it? God dear. It was interesting when I was doing this last night. The limited slip diff, because the other wheel is on the ground, the limited slip diff was kicking round, so it looks like it's moving. Something's moving anyway. Either the puller's about to snap or it is actually moving. Oh no, let's try and get a close up. So I think it's moving. Okay, hold on a second. Okay, here we go. So this is the spline this spline here is actually moving. Yesterday it was being very recalcitrant. Oh, there we go. It's going now, so that's great. So once I get to the end here, I'll just have to cut the clip off the gaiter and then it'll all slide off. Oh yeah, that's it. Job done. Wow. Yeah, there was no way that any amount of tapping with a hammer was going to move that. And like I say, I broke one bearing puller on this already. But this one is, that's it. We are free. So all I've got to do now is, I don't know if you can get in there, Sean, just at the back there where my finger is. I'm just going to cut that little clip off and then the whole thing will slide off. And then we'll be back later. Okay, that's great. Okay, so I've taken the puller off. That's quite cheap actually. It was only £10, which is probably, I don't know, $7 or something. I've cut the clip and now the whole thing should just slide off. There we go. So there's the old gaiter, and there's the UJ joint, which I'll check out. So that's that, and there's the end of our drive shaft. So all I've got to do now is just get right up inside there, and cut the clip off that, and then put the new gaiter on, slide it up the shaft. Obviously I'll clean all the shaft up and everything, so it all slides up there rather easily without damaging it, and it saves me taking it off of the whole car. I don't know if you're getting all of that, Sean. Are you getting that little shaft disappearing up there? Yeah. So that's it. So I'm just going to get up here with a hacksaw right up in there, cut the clips off, and yeah, and go again. I've actually got my finger inside this joint, and I'm going to clean the joint up in situ and then pack it full of grease in situ, so that it's all, you know, so it's all okay with new grease and everything like that. So yeah, that's pretty successful, I think, so far. Okay. Right, there you go. As you can see, there's the drive shaft gaiter, or what's left of it, and the joint. So I've just got to remove that gaiter, which is here. So I just slide that off the shaft, and then slide a new one on. Obviously there's not much room in here, so it's very hard to video this, but that is now off the end, and there's the UJ joint, constant velocity joint, and here's the gaiter. I've got it in my hand. There's the gaiter with both of the old clips, and you can see where it's split. Here's the other end of the CV joint, which I'm going to clean up in paraffin and then re-grease it and put a new gaiter on, obviously. There you go, I've taken the clip off, and I'm just about to take that off, and it's all gunky inside. And when you're actually inside, just have a look. There's a shim in there. See it moving around, don't forget that. Okay, when you put it back together, and there it is. So I'm just going to clean all that up. Just so you know, there's a dust cover on here which comes off, and there it is. Okay, and our shim is here. Whoops, I'll just grab it. There's our shim. Okay, there it is, cleaned up. It's worth noting that there's a ridge there, and that is where the shim goes. That side, as opposed to the other side, which doesn't have a ridge. There you can see it has no ridge. That goes towards the wheel, and that goes towards the gearbox. Okay, and then this is the outer dust cover, which the seal goes on, which I'm just going to clean that up. Yeah, so we'll clean it up with a wire brush and paint it, and while that's drying, then I can do the inboard one. Okay, I'm not going to get carried away with this. It's not a concourse car, so this is just just to clean it up a bit, make it look a bit nicer, but no one's ever going to see it, so what does it matter? So it's just thing is, if it helps stop the corrosion, then so be it. So yeah, I mean that's the main. Whoop, it's hot. That's the main thing, is just to stop the corrosion on it, because it's been plated and the plating's kind of gone. It's just sort of thinking about corroding now, but it's still pretty solid, so it hasn't gone through at all. Okay, there it is, painted up, and that should keep the weather off of it, and just ready to grease it up, and then it can go back on. Just a quick refurb. Like I say, it's not concourse, but you know, live in England, so it's always raining. It doesn't matter. It's going to get covered in mud and God knows what else, cow shit and everything else. Okay, right, the next stage is I've got the new gaiter there, and Ferrari very kindly provided just the right amount of grease for each joint, and there are the clips. So next thing is I've cleaned the inboard CV joint, and I'm going to pack it full of grease. Right, it doesn't look pretty, but that is the inboard CV joint, and it's all been cleaned out with paraffin on the brush, and I've just packed it full of grease. Now it looks like it's got too much in there, but that is the amount that's in the pack. So I've just got to push it in a bit more because I haven't pushed it all the way in so you can see it. But I push it right away into the bearings, and then we'll put the boot on. Okay, there it is in place, and the clips are on, and it's all packed full of grease. Okay. Okay, here's the next one, ready to be packed with the grease there, and I'll put it all together, so the next shot you'll see is it together. Okay, there's the gaiter on with the draw tie ready to be pulled up tight. Okay, I've now drifted this onto the spline. It's worth noting that when you're drifting anything on, because it doesn't just press on, you have to tap it on. I've used a piece of aluminium. It's got a nice weight behind it. Sorry, I'm trying to camera work and show you at the same time. There it is. I'm using that as a drift, and basically because it's aluminium and I'm hitting steel, it won't damage the steel. So I put that there like that, and then I hit it. It's got a nice bit of weight behind it, and I drift it on with that mallet. But do not ever hit, obviously, steel against steel, because you will damage the steel here. So always use a softer metal. So if you're hitting something with if you're trying to drift something that's made of steel on, drift it with a piece of aluminium because it's softer than steel. And if you're drifting a piece of aluminium on, then I often knock it on with either copper or hide, or even a very, very, very hard wood. I will try a very hard wood to start with, and then work my way to something a bit more substantial, because some aluminium can be quite soft. Now that all that remains for me to do is for me to snap the circlip in place. A quick way of checking is if the circlip sits in the groove that way, then you know it's going to snap on. So all I do is just do that, and there you go, it's on. I think this circlip actually has had a little bit of grief. As you can see, look, it's not a great fit. So I think I'm going to take it off and just squeeze it a little bit and see if I can get it to be a bit better. Okay, because that's not very good. Or ideally get another circlip. Okay, I've changed out that circlip for a better one. Now that all remains for me to do is to pack it this side full of grease. So I've got the rest of my grease here. So I'm just going to squeeze it into this side and fill all the slots. Okay. Okay, there it is, packed with grease. It looks quite a lot there, but when you pull it out, it obviously sucks all the grease in, so it's absolutely fine. Okay, there it is in place, all torqued up, and there's the inner gaiter just up there. You can just about see it. So yeah, that was okay. Unfortunately, didn't have to take the drive shaft off, which would have been a bit of a pain really, because I haven't got a ramp here. But there you go. And there we go, job done. Like I say, English cars look like they're rusted to hell, don't they? But it's actually okay. It's not as bad as it looks. It's actually not rusty at all. It's just been, it's just had loads of paint daubed all over it to stop it from rusting. But yeah, it doesn't look as nice as the ones across the pond for sure. There we go, job done.